Hello and welcome to our April virtual opening. My name is Emma Wilson and delighted that you could join us. This month's feature artists are Greg Day, Willa Vennema, Alan Bunker, and Missy Dunaway. First, a few thank yous before you hear from them. Thank you to our artists who continue to inspire and create their fabulous works and share them with all of us. And thank you to our clients who continue to support the arts and to stay in touch with us. Spring is here in Portland, which means it's sunny one day and then there's a 3-minute hailstorm the next. But just like the news and our economy and in our world, it's feeling like brighter days are here and we welcome them with open arms. Please follow us on Instagram, Portland Art Gallery, subscribe to our newsletter, portlandartgallery.com, and also please subscribe to Radio Maine, our YouTube channel. Listen and watch engaging interviews with Dr. Lisa Belisle and members of our gallery community. So now let's hear from our artists. First, I'd like to introduce artist Missy Dunaway. Missy earned her bachelor's degree in humanities and arts from Carnegie Mellon University. A traveler at heart, she has attended numerous international artist in residence programs that have provided opportunities for extended visits and cultural immersion. Missy has been awarded a Fulbright Fellowship, a Folger Institute Fellowship, the Art Prize Educator Award, a new student scholarship in the Academy of Realist Art Boston, and has traveled to Vietnam as a 4 seasons envoy. Wow. Please join me in welcoming artist Missy Dunaway.
Hello, I'm Missy Dunaway. I'm one of the exhibiting artists this month. Portland Art Gallery, thank you so much for exhibiting my work for April. Actually, this time last year, I had an April exhibition as well, for which I debuted a new project called The Birds of Shakespeare, for which I am painting all 66 species of birds mentioned in Shakespeare's plays and poetry. This project is a long-running project, and the idea is that each painting offers a variety of visual information for the viewer, including natural science facts about the bird and also literary interpretation of how each species is used as a symbol in the text. If you get a chance to visit the gallery this month, I hope you do, there is a print rack where you can flip through every design I've completed so far. And on the back of each print, you'll see a QR code, and you can scan it, and it will take you immediately to an article that I've written about that species. If you are out of state and you can't make it to the gallery, you can visit portlandartgallery.com or also thebirdsofshakespeare.com, which will provide you with the painting key and those materials as well. I am not a Shakespeare scholar nor an ornithologist, but the academic integrity is really important to me for this project. So I've compiled a team of advisors who are helping me fact check my research. So the Folger Shakespeare Library has been very involved, as is Haley Swenson, who's a Shakespeare scholar specializing in naturalism, Cody Dean, an avian ecologist who fact checks the anatomy of my bird illustrations, and Harriet Ricks, who is a botanist. This project has been incredibly rich and deep and fulfilling and also utterly exhausting. And so it was about earlier this year that I just thought, I want to do something totally different. And I want to do a new painting that's light on concept and heavy on emotion, where I'm painting from my heart and not my mind. And so I looked to one of my favorite paintings for inspiration. It's called Star by Maxfield Parrish, and it depicts a woman on a beach at night looking up at a night sky. And the painting is incredibly dark. It actually takes a few minutes when you're looking at the painting to see the woman emerge from the darkness. And it's a very moving and melancholy piece. And I thought, I want to do something like that, just because I find it beautiful. So instead of a woman on a beach at night, I painted a woman in a garden with fireflies. This painting was a big experiment for me because it's figurative, it's large scale, it's an oil, and I included some glazing techniques to create a nocturnal environment. So it was a lot of fun, and I'm very happy with it. I hope you enjoy it as well, and I think we might be seeing the start of a new series of my work with this piece. When you look at the works that I have on display this month, The Birds of Shakespeare, the Nocturnal Portrait, and then some other figurative pieces and a charcoal drawing I have, you might get the idea that I'm a bit of a character actor when it comes to my art. I have many different styles that I like and different interests that I like to explore through my art. And I really need to thank Portland Art Gallery for not typecasting me in my art and giving me that freedom to explore all of my interests. That's a very rare quality in a gallery, And especially in the contemporary art scene, I feel this immense pressure to have a very focused personal style. And I've come to the conclusion that that's really just not me. And so I find I'm just so grateful that I have found a place in a community that supports all the different interests that I have, and they're so encouraging. And that includes our viewers, visitors, guests, and clients. Thank you so much for attending the opening and watching these remarks. I hope you enjoy the show. I'd also like to thank the other artists who are sharing the exhibition space with me this month: Alan Bunker, WILLA Vennema, and Greg Day. I cannot tell you how much I look up to your art. As a staff member as well as a represented artist, I know your work so intimately. I'm around it all the time, every week, and you really, really have made a deep impact on me and my art, and I am constantly drawing from your dedication, creativity, and imagination in my own art practice. So thank you again. I hope everyone has a great time at the show, and thank you again for this opportunity, Portland Art Gallery.
And now I'd like to introduce artist Alan Bunker. Alan turned to art as a counterbalance to his fast-paced career in residential construction. Through experimentation and persistence, Alan developed a unique artist's approach, his signature Alan Bunker landscape style. He soon left construction behind to open an art gallery in the coastal town of Boothbay Harbor, Maine, just north of here. He learned much over the years that the gallery was in business, including that collectors loved his work that he created. Alan has re-entered the construction business, and this time taking into consideration balance with his career as an artist. Alan is a legacy artist who joined the Portland Art Gallery many years ago and has been well received by private and corporate collectors across the country. Please welcome artist Alan Bunker.
Hi, so I'm Alan Bunker. I'm sorry you couldn't make the show Thursday night, but maybe you did and you're seeing this anyway. But anyway, glad that you're with us. I just wanted to say a few things. We artists, when we go into the studio, we are inundated with thousands of decisions, and we keep making one decision after another. And sometimes they're good, sometimes they're bad, but there's a lot of them. And we just keep doing it, though, because we are inspired. That's what makes us artists. We just keep creating. At least that's how it is for me. But I just want to say to you, the audience, that you are an inspiration to us as well. And I mean that the art gallery and my collectors and just people who are interested in art, you are just as much an inspiration to me as the art that I create and nature and everything else that inspires me. So that's really all I want to say. I hope you enjoy the show, and you can get out to Portland Art Gallery at 153 Middle Street to see it. And thank you.
And now I'd like to introduce artist WILLA Vennema. WILLA works in the encaustic medium to create beautiful, luminous, multi-layered works from a molten mixture of beeswax, damar crystals, pigments, and found materials. WILLA is a long-term member of the professional artist group New England Wax and shows regularly with this group in museums and university galleries throughout New England. Her works are in private collections as well as at the Maine Medical Center, Avesta Housing, and Southern Maine Community College. WILLA earned her BA in Art History and Studio Art from Oberlin College and a BFA from Cooper Union. She lives here in Portland and summers in her beloved Swans Island. Please join me in welcoming artist WILLA Vennema.
Hi, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us for the virtual opening of the show this month at Portland Art Gallery. My name is WILLA Vennema, and I'm sitting here in my Portland, Maine art studio, and put out some paintings behind me for you to look at while I'm talking. So I'd like to start by telling you a little bit about my inspiration for my work, and then I'm going to tell you about how I approach creating a body of work for a show and the works in the show this month, and then a little bit about my medium and my process I use when I'm painting. So my inspiration all comes from down East Maine, from an island off the coast of Acadia National Park, Swans Island. And I've been going there my whole life. My parents discovered it through friends and brought me and my 3 siblings there every summer of our lives. And one of my main goals in life was to continue that tradition And so I did that with my family as well. And I never get tired of the scenery up there. It's exquisite. I'm sure many of you have visited Acadia National Park, and I can hike around Swans Island all the time. We take a little boat out and visit many of the uninhabited islands that have been preserved by Maine Coast Heritage Trust. And I just fill up with the beauty around me. And then I come back in the fall and I get to work in my Portland studio. So all the work in the show this month is new. And I work in series format. So I will take an idea or a moment that I experienced over the summer, and I will explore it for as long as it interests me. So an example of some of the series that are in the show this month are my Island and Ocean series, my Low Tide series, and my Spruce Tree Skyline series, and I think a couple more. I sort of dipped into a bunch of different series that I've been working on for years to create the body of work that's in the show. So that's about the work in the show and my inspiration. And now I'm going to tell you about my medium and my process, because that's a really important part of my work. I use the encaustic medium, which has been used for making art for thousands of years, and it's having a heyday now. Everybody's finding out about it. Lots of artists are joining in. It's not something that I don't think is taught even yet in art school. So most artists are self-taught or learn from other artists. And the reason why I love it so much is because it's so versatile and it's continually challenging, but also provides a lot of surprises. And when you work with the medium, it's really like a dance, because it has a mind of its own, and you have to allow for lots of changes to happen while you're working with it. And the reason why that is because it's a molten wax medium. It is beeswax with pigment and a little bit of damar resin to harden the beeswax. And you keep it all on a hot plate in lots of little containers of all your different colors. And you need to work extremely quickly to get the warm melted wax onto your substrate, because the minute it leaves the heat source, it starts to harden. So the beginning of every painting is a very exciting time of getting your wax on. And then encaustic is all about the layers. The beautiful luminescent quality of the paint is because it is created through a whole layering process. And that's another point at which you have to be open for surprises, because you put down a layer on top of another, and then you have to fuse it with a heat source, such as a heat gun or a heat torch. And when you fuse it, you're remelting the wax pretty much. And even if you're very skilled and have practiced a lot, there's always something that's going to happen differently when you start to melt it again. And so you have to be open to the process in that way. So another exciting part of the medium is how versatile it is and how many different things you can do with it. You can make it very sculptural. You can make it very smooth. You can embed materials into it, such as paper, and lace is a material I've used a lot, where I embed it into the wax. Then I pull it up, and then I put a different color in where the impression was, and then that creates a very interesting look that, you know, is surprising and unusual, and you know, I have a lot of fun with that. So the other thing you can do is use a variety of different tools with it. I've used forks and metal combs to run through the wax and create wave-like patterns. So it's very exciting, and I encourage you to read about it online, or if you have questions in specific about my work, I'm sure the gallery would be willing to put you in touch with me. So In closing, I'd like to give a big shout out to the amazing team at Portland Art Gallery who work tirelessly to get these shows on every month and do a tremendous amount of work behind the scenes to make Portland Art Gallery such a wonderful place. So thank you, Portland Art Gallery. And thank you all again for tuning in today. Take care.
And now I'd like to introduce artist Greg Day. This is Greg's first show at the Portland Art Gallery, and it has been so wonderful. Greg was born in Brunswick and grew up in rural Brooks, Maine. And from an early age, he was fascinated with space, light, and the urban landscape, and became determined to study architecture. He enrolled at the University of Kansas, where he obtained degrees in engineering and architecture. It was during his time in college that Greg discovered his passion for painting. And upon graduation, he moved to New York City, where he worked as a lighting designer and architect. He has since devoted himself to being an active artist and a quote-unquote builder of paintings. After several years in New York, Greg lived and painted in England and Prague, and it was during these years that he solidified the ideas that now inform his work. Greg has shown his paintings in Maine, Boston, New York City, England, and the Czech Republic, and is in collections throughout the US and Europe. He now has a studio and lives most of the year in Bath, Maine. Please welcome artist Greg Day.
Hi everyone, I'm Greg Day. Thank you to Portland Art Gallery and all of the amazing people there. I'm pleased to be one of the featured artists this month, along with MISSY Dunaway, WILLA, Vennema, and Alan Bunker. Starting in college, my creative and work interest has been centered on exploring light and shadow and space, both man-made and natural spaces. My work in the show continues this exploration. I hope you can make it into the gallery to see everyone's work.
Thank you all for joining us for our April virtual opening. Please take a moment to check out our website and learn more about these artists and all of our other 57 artists here at the Portland Art Gallery. Or if you can visit us, stop in at 154 Middle Street, 7 days a week, 10 to 5:30. Until next time, be curious, remain hopeful, and stay in touch. Thanks so much.